In today's episode, we will be going over some of the best highlights from the matchup between T1 and BLG during the knockout stage of the 2024 MSI. Without further ado, let's dive straight into the action.
Try and zone.
Did with that big wave being missed by the... Oh, no. The corpse of the cannon flew up into the air.
You know as soon as...
Oh, Faker gonna get pulled back! And that is first blood going tonight, and it's a solo kill!
The golden left hand coming up clutch for BLG. There was so much movement on the map, we forgot about the mid lane.
And Knight gets the auto off and gets the kill there. That is insane advantage.
Well, BLG now pushing forward here towards the bottom side. Guma does slink down into the mist, but Shun's making his way in. Arctic Assault is going to find the center, and there's the Weaver's Wall as well. They take down Gumayushi, and there's the flick on the carrier as well, but Owner is there with the stab. Finally, they take down the Tom Kenshin. A 2-for-1. BLG will take it.
BLG added Knight to the... He's already got the move in mid. The mistake from On was using the bailout already, but back to life.
Yeah, in the meantime, that is going to be the handshake on top of the rocks. There is the seismic shove, and Faker is just going to try and deal with the wave. He knew that he was dead.
There's a reason this was one of the most hyped up roster moves of all time here on the Senna, and Faker continuously scaling on Corki.
Well, he might be dead yet again. There's the flash handshake to come out from On as Guma. He's trying to get out of there, but I don't know whether it's going to work out as Elk is just dashing behind him, finds the pierce, and he just explodes. Carrier, he has to flash to get on out of there, but this 2v2 is all BLG.
This is the best bot lane.
Very early on to talk about them, but the classic Baron rush.
Faker.
Yeah, well, Faker's just going to face check, put in prison here, and the wall is set up behind him. There's the flash Valkyrie, using him in the right order this time around, but he's still dead. The rocks are thrown at him, and there goes the Corki for the third time.
Oh, Knight is just dumb.
The LPL starts off on top esports, gets their first ever championship for themselves, then moves over to JDG, manages to flip the script and get another one, but now in boss.
In goes Carrier, looks for an opportunity here on to Elk. The bailout should be there, but the Devour is as well. Elk, he is going to get taken down, not going to be able to trade back. Carrier doesn't even need to eat the gray health, and T1 are on the board in the bottom lane.
Okay, they got the resources down bottom to bail them out, but top side.
Bit of a trade here is now the all-out just going to pull in the special delivery piggy, and Zeus going to be able to survive.
Huge move there as Owner.
In the meantime, there's a little bit more that happened towards the bottom side of the map, but once again, Faker in trouble. Knight taking a little bit back with that phosphorus bomb, but I think that he's absolutely fine with how they...
Coming through from Carrier to start that one out, and there's just nothing you can do as BLG, and the follow-up then from Owner as well, knowing that he'd be able to get on two. That's 2 kills now with the Kraken Slayer completed for Owner. He's in a great spot, and if he can start to play around bot side once more here, maybe they can go again.
Well, it's got vision as much as possible. Knight and Elk with the most gold in the game, as we saw just there, is now Faker with the package at the ready, avoids everything, or everything misses. Package going to get delivered as the Drake now being considered by T1. Snare connects onto Shun, but he is still in this fight, at least for the moment. Faker getting a lot of damages. There is a huge burrow right on top of BLG and T1. I think we may have started counting him out too early, as Owner hopping around this fight as his version of a Callista, and they'll take a Drake.
The unseen then has a big package to start up the fight, and the rest of Team 1 pick up the slack. Carrier really doing a lot of work for this team.
This might be a bridge too far here for Zeus, who is going to have to try and get something done to get out of here. Has ghosted, has made it underneath the turret, but there's the flash forward. He is going to get stunned to the wall with the condemn, and there's the kill going over to On. 4 members going to be enough to deal with the Cassante here, and they should also be able to grab a second turret for themselves.
Just a question of how far do they want to keep going. Bin going to reset to try and move on down to the bot side, but Faker should be able to respond with the turret himself, so T1 at least only losing out on what is just a kill. But still, BLG stepping up on this top side. They have the and keep that for mid and a potential dragon in 3 minutes time.
And Owner's the only one here picking up these.
Oh dear, there's a Glacial Prison. And yep, he's normally a pretty slippery champion, but it's not going to work out there. Tries to Heartbreaker, but he's the only one getting heartbroken here. And T1 probably pretty happy that they managed to get the first 2 Drakes this game, because this is a Corki composition. One, getting the first Drake, generally hard. You don't have the package available for that one. The second one, far more possible, something that they were able to do by winning a team fight. And this one, don't necessarily... All right, T1 still without any control of this Baron area. Some wards that have been turned off, and now, speaking of getting turned off, Owner is out of there. Things went black and white for him, unfortunately, and that is going to be Knight collecting another one. They also might augment this with a purple buff. As T1 now trying to get in there, trying to stop this from happening. This could be disaster. Could really break open the game. BLG down to 50% health on this Baron. The Weaver's all comes through as Zeus. He wants to try and get over that. Now Faker off to the side on a bit of a flank angle. Decent amount of damage can be done here, and that is going to be the Baron secured by BLG. Just beautifully played. Kill the jungler is going to go down. BLG with good pressure in multiple lanes. Now Bin not going to push any further forward. This is a little bit of a dangerous spot as he does get interrupted. Zeus getting that wraparound. Final hour does come on through. As now just looking to turn it onto Faker. Is this going to be the 1v2 as the all-out does come through? There's the pullback, and now Bin is so fast. He just kills Faker. Can he get out is the question. The answer is, does he even want to? Gumayusi coming around, and I think he will be shut down, but a 1-for-1, you take those.
Everyone at T1 was needed to take down Bin, and he still gets a kill. This guy is a monster. The shadow box. Do not let up. Looking for these picks, looking for these plays, and Bin, this was immaculately done. Turns on towards Faker with the invisibility, and even though Zeus brings in one direction, flashing away from the phosphorus bomb, keeps his health up, and makes sure that he can finish off the Corki. Nearly turning on to Owner as well, but eventually Gumayusi says enough of this as he shows up to wrangle him into position.
They had to use
BLG, they return. Knight cuts them off with a bit of a wall.
Well, Carrier actually going aggressive there. Not sure about that one as now hostile takeover comes on in. Both tanks just doing battle, and Bin puts Carrier in the ground. Zeus not looking as tanky as he has in some of the other games here at MSI. The inner turret is going to be taken down. BLG, just a couple of turrets standing beside the Nexus for them to get rid of. They're going to start with this top lane inhibitor turret as Owner on that flank angle teleport to come in as well. Shun down to 50% as now Zeus thinks he may have found an angle here. The flash forward from Gumayusi doesn't manage to find the snare, and neither does Zeus. The all-out comes on through. Faker delivers a package to the backline and gets rid of Knight. Could this be the team fight they're looking for? Faker, he goes down, but I think they're just too big, and Elf is ripping them apart, rendered down. And I think that's the last gasp for T1 in game one.
The speed up would
not really taking too much damage here, but is going to be able to interrupt Zeus on his attempted way out. And now 1 versus 5. I don't think that one's going to be winnable there, Zeus. As BLG, they're teleporting. They're trying to finish this one off right now. Knight heads towards that bottom lane carrier there to try and meet the wave. Knight is so incredibly frightening. 4 versus 5 here. Only 2 turrets remain here for T1 as they're looking to desperately hold on. It feels so hopeless as the hostile takeover is gigantic. There's another handshake from On. He is just so good at this champion. Gumayusi is going to get flattened, and T1 going to get pulled out of their fountain. Carrier, not enough gray health to go through here as he will be rendered where he stands. And there goes the Nexus on game 1. BLG up 1-0.
The LPL and MSI.
Around this bottom side, and Carrier continues to get these incredible abyssal dives. It is going to be tough for Elkanon to really push that advantage, so I wouldn't be surprised the Owner starting on that top side of the map, trying to path down to help out Gumayusi and Carrier move in towards the Rift Herald. Shun, though, going to try and respond by diving bot side, and Gumayushi's very low.
He really is. In fact,
oh
they
my
don't
God.
even need him. There's the flash forward. First blood going over to On. He will be answered as Carrier locks down that kill, and now he's going aggressive. Faker moving down towards his bottom side as well. The wall comes in. Seismic shove pulls him back, and there is the answer. The 2-for-1 trade for T1.
Faker's back on, but still gets hit by the flick back, and there's no way that he can get out.
Yeah, Elk and On are so... Oh, never mind.
Bin looking like he's in a little bit of trouble here towards the top side of the map. Both of these champions can tank pretty nicely. There's the flash just to make sure he can get a
Wait a sec.
Can he? The all-out comes on through as Zeus was taking the turret for around 16 years. And there is the kill back in the end. Bin going to be able to go 1-for-1.
Oh, Binny boy! I got... Kill, of course, is finished off there by T1, and they're able to go 1-for-1. Faker now visited.
Yeah, if 2 didn't work, then let's bring 3. Dawning Shadow comes in. Fantastic handshake once again from On. I think that T1 might need to think about banning away that champion. Hostile takeover once again. On is going to make sure about these turrets being pushed into so aggressively. Owner now will be able to take his 4th grub as well, as there's another handshake from On, but T1, they're making their way in. The Ignite ticking down. Piercing Darkness, not going to do as much, but he is going to be fine and get out.
They got the damage they needed to, though. Faker taken low means that you can't really contest on this top side for the Void Grubs. Package picked up for Knight, though, means they won't have that available for that next Dragon, so curious to see if T1 will keep track.
Going to be able to fight for it at all because he can see Shun and Knight heading towards that top side.
Yeah, BLG made the call. We are going to wait for the next Dragon. Just trade this one, no problem. Go for Rift Herald top side instead. Meanwhile, pretty quick rotation from T1 immediately after the Dragon, and they're going to head to try and chase them off of Rift Herald. Barely finished off, and the escape now is good.
Well, now a potential dive available, thrown back with the seismic shove as Elk is in trouble. Carrier dives forward, they take down the turret, great handshake. Another hostile takeover is going to be good, but this time, Carrier is just that little bit too tanky. Dawning Shadow avoided there by Elk just narrowly. They do get themselves out.
To be in what he needs to be doing at all points in time, but now he needs to use it again because Knight's in trouble topside.
He certainly is.
Yeah, this is a rough one. There's a seismic shove. It's going to miss, but it gets the flash. Knight now in trouble. He's surviving for a long time, but Gumushi, he'll have the range. Bailout not quite going to be there. Arizona locks down that kill. Knock up after the cleanse. It's a disaster for health. T1 take two. Seismic shove once again onto On. That is not going to be another kill. A third would be a bit much.
Huge picks here for T1. Enemy jungle's on bottom side of the map, and so they overloaded up here, almost baited in by trying to get the bailout for Knight here. Elkwood, through
anyone just yet. T1 with control of the river. Ona goes in. Not sure about that one. As now a flank angle here for Carrier. Wants to get that tongue lash out, find an opportunity. As Knight not going to get hit by that one. There's the Fate's call. Dawning Shadow flies forward once again as this bottom lane is in so much trouble. The hostile takeover again is phenomenal, but used very defensively here. As T1, they own this jungle.
And now they own the mid lane as well. T1 forcing BLG into that top side means they can get that tier 2 tower that they already set very low. Knight alone under the tower. Faker considered using the Weaver's Wall, but T1 are just going to march their way down the mid instead.
really good job.
They keep some semblance of control, and it's alongside a package here as well for Knight. Rift Herald, they're throwing the kitchen sink at making sure this soul point does not go over to T1. They have control of the river.
Yeah, Carrier's going to have a really good Devourer in this team fight because you really have to worry about rank 2 ultimate from Wukong, who's got the level 6, or who has the package on Knight. Is it going to go?
Weaver's Wall going to try and split this fight up. There's a seismic shove. Knight, he hasn't used the package. He tries to use it defensively, but it's cut off. And now there's Stretch Armstrong. He dives into the pit. The Drake is secured here for BLG, but T1 are just rolling over the top. Ben, he can't Cassante his way out of that one. And it is an ace almost, as On is the only one that survives.
Leah, and it is a clean sweep.
Well, I think we should have known. Talia, hard counter to Corky. It's impossible to play that matchup, and now we understand on both sides, just don't do it.
Oh. Gotta say, it's not the first time we've seen Knight struggle more fun in this game.
Not quite working out. There's now BLG. They're looking to try and defend here with 3. Elk moving on up. You can see Knight making his way forward as well. Unstoppable used here by Bin to absorb some of that CC, but there's another Weaver's Wall that will guarantee this inner turret. I thought Faker was going to go a little bit further on that one, but instead he is going to take the safer route. Has to use the Fate's Call as On is going to be saved. Carrier just standing in that front line. Zeus on the flank angle. The Zac looking for that opportunity. There is the Weaver's Wall to go through. Dawning Shadow to make sure that T1 are all absolutely fine. And in goes Zeus. Doesn't find the stretching strike, but he just doesn't take damage. Knight gets a decent package this time around, but the Cyclone does absolutely nothing. Ona tries to go aggressive. Knight gets at least one there as the bailout comes in, and T1, they're just a brick wall. They're not going to be taken down. Their health bar is still above 50% On, having to get out of there. And Knight, there is just nothing left in the tank. Carrier just chasing after him, tongue at the ready, and Faker will throw the rocks at the Renata to finish off the support. Zeus, yeah, this might take some time, but I think he might be able to get it. And there it goes, just lands the slingshot, and down goes the Corky.
The shields are Carrier shields, with Zeus just being unkillable in these fights. T1 just walk over BLG.
Well, yeah, it's very slow. Just walk to game, as is Zeus, as we saw just there, landing the slingshot very nicely as T1 have started off the Baron. They have all of the control. Zeus just bodyguard here for T1. Gumushi backing up his support. As Carrier slinks into Fog of War once again. Bin trying to aggressively position himself, trying to get his way in. As he eats all of those rocks, there's another wall. As the Cyclone, this time into the backline, is fantastic. It lands onto Gumushi, but it's a trade of AD carries. And Zeus is buying so much space. There goes the Wukong. Zeus, is he going to take damage? Will he? Will it happen?
He will, and then he'll heal it.
Yes, so he will. He'll continue to take damage, but heals way more than he takes. As Knight is trying to hide behind the Gromp.
Where do you go?
Stay still for me, buddy. No, not going to work out there. Tried to be tricky.
Knight was caught between a frog and a Baron at the same time. Zeus says, I'll go for the end. You get the objectives.
Yep. He's not going to be killing anyone, but he does manage to take down that inhibitor turret like you were talking about. And yeah, slowly but surely. Yes. Putting his blobs against the inhibitor. Doesn't quite work out there as Keria manages to get another wave forward, and that is the Baron being...
And a blob. So Shun dealt with, thanks to Owner and Faker, and then Knight just does not do enough damage on Corki, and there goes Shun.
Okay.
Just pop goes the Weasel.
I'm done, Talba. And Keria, he can lick this turret down if he would like to. And there's the Zacian once again, lands right on top of On. Just not quite able to do too much. And yes, there are 3 members of BLG now throwing sticks and all sorts of stuff towards their Zac, but he still wants to go aggressive. Bin moving forward, and he is very, very tanky, but T1 just look undeterred. They will be able to take the inhibitor towards the bottom side of the map. Just one inhibitor remaining in favor.
He wants the Q instead.
Owner killed the creep, come on.
Well, T1 now have a minion wave towards this turret. Still looking for a dive attempt. Weaver's Wall does come down. That will guarantee this one. Very textbook here for T1. They'll lock that one down. Now they go aggressive. In goes Zeus. Does get Elk out of there, but now they might have an opportunity. The blob is finally going relatively low. Still has cell division, I'm pretty sure, although we haven't seen it so far this game. Flash out as Shun has to avoid the seismic shove. The inhibitor does go down now, and BLG, they just can't get any lethal blows onto T1.
Yeah, they jumped the front line pretty low, but they're going back in.
All right, Zeus, he still has 100 health, so he may as well go in. There it is. Stretch Armstrong comes down, the cell division coming on forward, and he gets devoured. Never you mind. Zeus still has the passive up and available.
Oh my God.
This is just absurd. Bin going down very low. The Nexus turret's not going to last, and T1, they will even out
Them any sort of into the fight.
Fellas, I think we might be getting a BLG favored game this time around. At least for me. I think it is bold to pick 2 stacking champions versus...
Understands that 1 versus 4, even under a turret, probably not going to work out. They're looking for their first couple of plates.
Clean sweep here on the jungle quadrants for BLG. If Bin... Wait, he's sneaking back in?
Yep, not sure about that one, as he's taking a fair bit of damage. Q does connect there from Owner, but so does the snare from this center. Looks like Bin...
The TP and the repeat dive.
Yep, straight back down there once again. A good snare lands from Gumayushi here, as Zeus tanking the first turret shot. So we're going to try and soften him up. Of course, it is dangerous to try and dive at Jax just in general, but 4 versus 1 here on the top side of the map as well. Looks like BLG might be able to get onto the board as Keria wants to eat that grey health. He does so, and Shun not going to be able to reset. That is Keria locking that one down. A 1-for-1 on the top side, and in the meantime, Zeus just barely surviving, and they clean up the dive bot.
Just about a...
And so they were able to get that one. But here we go for the next round. Shun is now looking at Guma.
Yeah, there are 4 members of BLG moving down here. There's the flash twisted advance, gets very deep underneath the turret, but the seismic shove is fantastic. And this time, Shun doesn't need a twisted advance to survive the dive. In goes Owner once again, does a fair bit of damage tonight. And it looks like they will be able to get away from this one scot-free. Faker making the roam down. Let's see whether the Vega can get his cage into position. T1 wanting to keep them interested. There's a flash out from On. And it should mean that T1 aren't able to get too much back, as Shun taking a lot of damage, still down to 100 though, keeps himself alive, as now Faker throws out the LTL, just barely surviving! And the Dark Matter not going to connect on.
Top side, Bin getting a nice little bit of farm and experience lead over Zeus.
Meanwhile, they're looking for a repeat here. Faker sticking around.
Yeah, On in a bit of trouble here, as Faker does move on down towards that bottom side, and that is going to be kill going over to Gumayushi. Just a little bit greedy for the experience.
Yeah, nicely done there. Keria's like, don't worry, Faker. grabbing that first little break point. Meanwhile, Shun again, ultimate towards Faker.
Yeah,
Faker who does have flash.
Yeah, should be able to get himself pretty far away. Seismic Shove going to connect though, puts down the cage, but it doesn't really do anything. Dark Matter flies down and Faker is just dead. No flash, going to even be in very deep one. That's that ward that we were looking at before as Carrier is going to make his way in. Bin already down to about 50%, and he does have the Counter-Strike up and available. That means not going to be able to find too much, especially with Knight teleporting in. Beautifully played here by BLG to just get what they can from the Rift. Owner going to be still going to be able to answer that first turret that was taken on the bottom side by BLG. They'll answer, though, with a Rift Herald of their own. And now, Owner looking to go aggressive, does dive towards Elk, but thinks against it, as now that is a better target for the Culling. Gumayusi taking a fair bit, still able to outrange it. Nature's Grasp going to be used here by Shun. Let's see who we can get for it as Gumayusi very far off to the side, and that is going to be Owner going down. Elk dives forward, picks up the kill for himself, but he's now out of the fight, gone very, very low. Really beautifully done by BLG, and it looked just unanswerable, especially for Owner, who as soon as he did get snared, he was just doomed. This tower going to go down though as Faker secures.
BLG, Elkin on, they push it, they roam up to that topside tower.
Yeah, Tidal Wave going to come down. The Baby Cage is there to try and protect his Gumayusi. The Piercing Darkness is decent, but he gets caught. Oh, Faker, no, does have the Seraphs, and that is going to keep him alive for the moment.
Look at that value play though, BLG.
A lot of value there is going to be picked up until the very end, and now the snare comes down. Tidal Wave finds absolutely nothing as the Destiny going to be utilized. That gives vision of this Drake, but I don't think they're going to be able to get there, so that's the Dragon being secured by BLG. And T1 slink back to the
teleporting
mid
on
lane.
Zeus.
All right, yeah, Bin. He's looking for an opportunity onto the Twisted Fate here, and now he finds himself in melee range. Not exactly where the TF wants to be, but the cavalry has been called in. The kick flash, it comes down, the flash out, he snares both, but he's going to be able to survive the Dawning Shadow. And T1 not able to find anything, but still not going to lose their Twisted Fate either.
T1 were trying to trade for the tier 2 on top side, but now they might trade their lives.
Yep, another Nature's Grasp coming on down there as Owner gets twisted, advanced on. The Seismic Shove doesn't quite find the target though, and Carrier is once again extraordinarily tanky. Still BLG, they just kite them back, and are we going to get another kill this game?
Mid lane has been pushed up here by T1. They go for the 4-1 split push with Faker on bottom side, being able to get the rest of the wave, but here comes the collapse from BLG.
Yep, Gold Card going to connect, but Elk not really too worried about it, and here is all of the ultimates flying forward. It's a decent gobble this time around, but the Tom Kench will not survive. Faker finds his opportunity, but he just takes a Nami, and that is not going to do enough to get them into this fight. Still flashing, puts down the cage, but the Baleful Strike will not land, and now there is nowhere for him to go. Back against the wall, and there is a killing spree for Knight.
And Cleanse and Flash ready. Dragon is going to be theirs, but the ward's cleared out, so T1 going to keep on making you think, are we rushing it, huh?
Yeah, are we going to do the Baron? You can see that, Faker throwing like a W at it just to say like, yeah, we could.
Look at the spam.
There is Owner getting himself out of there with the
No
safeguard.
flash on Faker.
And there's another Weaver's Wall to come through from Knight. Owner gets over. The Nature's Grasp should be able to get the Viger, although it does run out. Still, I think Bin with some free time should be able to take him down. Seismic Shove not onto Faker, but he's still going to go down. And that is Knight that collects that kill. T1, they do get here to try and defend, but they're not going to be able to save their mid laner. Faker with BLG pushing it even further forward.
Faker with his dying breath.
Yeah, it's just too dangerous for T1. With Faker in the graveyard there, they cannot afford to defend their... Oh my god!
The Devour has to be used here by Carrier, and he's going to get Gumayusi out, but to safety, I'm not entirely sure because the teleport's coming in, and Bin just dives on top of him. There goes the bottom lane, shoved around his Carrier, and Knight is indeed unstoppable.
Mid jungle, if they want to try and contest this, being going to try and keep Zeus out.
Well, Zeus might be able to get on in here. There is the Destiny. That is going to give them at least vision of what's going on here. Owner, he can safeguard his way through. And Faker with that smite play you were talking about, it is very scary. Dawning Shadow gives them vision, and Owner goes in, but it's not going to be in time. Kicks the tree over the wall and then meets his doom.
Wait, the TP mid?
All right, well, Carrier's making his way back, and he's tanky, but not that tanky, and he goes the wrong direction, one could say. Faker's going to turn up alongside him and just die.
BLG are going to speed run the rest of this game then. Thank you.
All right, well, Gumayusi Yushi is going to try and defend, and it's not going to work, as this is going to be the base broken for BLG. Feels like T1 just can't handle the pressure. There it is. Rocks being strewn on the ground in front of Yushi. Isaiah's trying to do some fancy footwork, but it is not going to be enough. As Ona, he gets underneath his inhibitor turret, but he's thrown around like a ragdoll once again. Elk will be taken down. So there's at least some shutdown gold going over to Ona. And BLG, they're happy to have some fun as well.
Just means they won't get the inhibitor though, and because Bin was pushing the top side, won't actually get too much, so a little bit of a
approach, a death trap, so
well, there is a kick. That's just not going to work there for Ona. He's going to be put into a bubble and destroyed. Zayas moving on down the cage. Fantastic this time, but it's the resurrection, and Carrier, he mistimes the abyssal dive. Elk gets himself out of there with the relentless pursuit, and there goes Faker. BLG are too far ahead, and they know it. Has now been flashing with the counter-strike. That'll be the ace, and that will be match point for BLG.
BLG, the LPL first seed, showing why they were so feared coming into MSI, taking us to a match point against T1.
Nexus will go down, and BLG, man, you were right, Kobe. You said it at the has been such incredible setup. It might have been that they saw the Zac and they're like, it's going to take us about 3 years to get through it, and we don't want to waste that kind of time.
Yeah, that is not worth it. That would be a
lobs and stuff like that here towards the top side as Shun in position. Let's see whether he can find some sort of engage opportunity. Bin pins him against the wall. There is a spear connecting, but the elastic slingshot, it comes out. The flashes both going to come on through here as that spear is going to miss. So 3 and 6 is my count, I guess. Yushi, they're gonna help out Ona taking down this first dragon of the game. And Elk will now just find Zayas, who will get snared. There are 3 members of BLG in the area, but Elastic Slingshot, one heck of an ability. That is going to mean just the grub's going to be taken here by BLG, but that is still a good prize.
Yeah, not a lot of experience for Elk, but is getting a lot of souls. You know, roaming up there by the Void Grubs as well, getting those off of the back of Shun. So as long as the souls keep on stacking, Knight here with a little trade.
Yep.
Pushing their leads through the laning phase.
Yep, they are going to focus the experience onto On here, so maybe a Giga Nautilus will take effect. Shun is making a pass.
Seen this one before, as Zayas now just trying to move himself back. The Q doesn't really connect. There's the all-out as Zayas is bouncing, and he's got Cell Division, so he was never...
To try and carry those fights as the main DPS in the backline.
Oh, this is so dangerous for Carrier. Spear is going to land. Good flash as the pounce was coming through. But Carrier still having to use that very valuable summoner spell in order to escape. Better be. Elk is still level 5.
Giga Nautilus, this is the way. BLG, they rotate down for the dragon, but T1.
Yeah, Carrier noticing that this is going to be very low. That is the steal for Ona, though. Says thank you very much. And they're not even going to go aggressive onto him because he's got flash. Could have just got himself. This is going to be winning fights.
BLG definitely want to make sure they're winning this. Now, match against Gen G up next if they can try and find it, but Spear goes wide.
Yeah, picks the gap as the Rift Herald going to be secured here by T1. Muscling a little bit back in this game.
Yeah, but I agree with their reasoning why. They've got unlimited stacking Senna, and they've got Tristana stacking ranged as well with levels.
Oh, the hook not landing. That could be a problem here as On is down to 50%. He's extraordinarily tanky. You mentioned Giga Nautilus. That is fitting the bill. Skoomer is going to be able to tear out those sticks. So we almost had some sort of theoretical death vision available here as Elk. Wind becomes lightning is going to connect. There is an ulti. Great knock-up as On is going to have to flash to get himself out. Knight is now being kept out of this fight as well as now Faker has his mitts on him. The Dragon down to 50%. Another W going to be connecting there. The Dawning Shadow, and it should be first blood as Gumayushi will be taken down. It's Bin that grabs the first one. Faker tries to get out of there, and T1 are now just going to find themselves lying on the ground. Zayas, not anything he can do, and he might split up, but he is still very dead. Shun's going to be able to lock that one down, and it's 2 quick ones for BLG and a Dragon.
On was missing the hooks to give T1 false hope. He finds the crucial one on the Gumayushi, sets up for Shun's spear, and immediately BLG pounds. They take the kills, and they will take the Dragon.
They're just gonna run away with the map now. I mean, they're even gonna get the last outer tower. All 3 outer towers down on the side of T1 now. Not to mention
auto at him. That is about all they're going to find for the moment. No commitment to any fight right now as Knight moving in from that top side. And now Faker tries to find his opportunity. They take down Shun. There is one in this fight as now Elk He could be in trouble as well. Makes it underneath the turret. And now Gumayusi, this is his time. He's hopping mad underneath this one. Owner going to do the same thing as Faker. Backflips on top. Not going to be the bailout there for Owner, and they take their first turret. T1 are alive.
But if Dragon is up and available, and T1 immediately looking for the big objective.
This is the biggest part, the fact that they can now get themselves soul point. They can stop these mountains from being stacked up.
Wow.
And T1 will be able to lock that one down. It is still feeling so narrow here for T1 to try and tightrope walk their way towards Silver Scrapes. At least a fight could be an opportunity here, as there's a flash depth charge to come out from On. Faker getting underneath the turret, does have the shroud, I believe, but no, he's not able to get into it, and Shun's able to lock down the kill. Right as I was saying it, they're back on the board.
TP in behind them though. T1 do not want to let BLG go for the Baron. Waving bot side isn't in a position for BLG to really capitalize.
He has his teleport. Could be an opportunity. Hook is going to land there, and it's just not going to be anything here for T1. The cell division comes down, and T1 cannot find any opportunity. That is going to be Gumayusi using that Fate's Call to get Carrier out of dodge. But I don't know about that one, Carrier. The hook is going to be there once again from the Giga Nautilus, and T1 are just falling apart. Dawning Shadow flies in, and it's just going to be BLG wandering back.
This has got to be free. Owner, maybe he could work some magic. It would be Psycho, though.
Oh, dear. There is Gumayusi trying to dance his way out of this time, but Bid is just going to execute him.
Look at Owner. Owner,
Yeah.
he knows the game is about to be lost, so he's trying to sneak his way over there. Knight says, no way you're getting through this jungle. The Baron is ours, and it all started with BLG sending the hit squad for Faker. 4 members, everyone.
As well as they're going to go for it once again. On still hasn't taken a damage yet as he gets his hand shook. Elk just standing in the back line, keeping him healed up as Faker looks for the flank angle. Gets the backflip onto Shun, but Gumayusi not going to get bailed out of this one. Shun dives in. He's just going to execute Faker. The hostile takeover is going to come on through. We'll see whether that's going to be enough as Knight does go down. Shun's going to follow suit, but it looks like BLG will have the man advantage in the end. That's going to be the ace, and they might just be able to win the game right here, right now.
BLG will take down the second seed of the LCK in what is an unbelievable performance from the first seed.
And able to get their revenge from the World Championship, and the LPL just showing the LCK that this is their tournament. They do not lose at MSI, and there goes the Nexus. That is the match for BLG, and they'll be heading towards the winners final.
These were some of the best highlights from the MSI 2024 Knockouts matchup between T1 and BLG. Which moment was your favorite? Let us know in the comments below.